Let's dive into the story of Florida, the expansive, sun-drenched state that dangles off the southern edge of the United States map like a tropical paradise. Known worldwide for its iconic Disney World, its lurking alligators, and its seemingly endless supply of sunshine, Florida is a place of wonder and adventure. The sun seems to have taken up permanent residence here, making Florida the ultimate destination for sunbathers, orange lovers, and space enthusiasts watching rocket launches. But let's not forget, Florida wasn't always the vacation hotspot it is today. Once upon a time, it was a wild, untamed land, dominated by swamps and plagued by giant mosquitoes. So how did this transformation occur? How did Florida evolve into the ultimate winter escape for millions? The answer lies with a few visionary individuals who had grand ideas and the means to make them a reality. Enter Thomas Edison, the genius behind the light bulb, and Henry Ford, the pioneer of the automobile industry. These two were more than just inventors. They were pioneers and trendsetters of their time. Instead of sharing their adventures on social media, they built luxurious winter homes and invited their affluent friends to join them. Their influence helped transform Florida from a mosquito-infested swamp into a sunlit paradise. This is a tale of friendship, innovation, and an abundance of sunshine that changed the course of Florida's history. Edison and Ford found a sanctuary where they could unwind, recharge, and dream up ideas that would change the world. They didn't just escape the harsh winters, they crafted a new, enviable lifestyle that many aspired to. Today, millions of people follow in their footsteps, flocking to Florida's sunny shores every year. It all began with a simple yet brilliant idea. When the cold sets in, head south to the warmth. And Edison and Ford made their journey south with style and flair, setting a trend that would last for generations. Are you ready to explore how these two inventive minds left an indelible mark on Florida? Let's dive into their fascinating story. What's a snowbird? Not a bird, a person. But not just any person. A snowbird is someone who's figured out how to outsmart winter, year after year. Snowbirds are folks from cold places like New York, Michigan, or even Canada, who head south for the winter months, chasing warmth and sunshine. When the snow piles up and the wind bites, they trade shovels for swimsuits, boots for flip-flops, and escape to the sun. It's a seasonal migration, but with a lot more sunscreen. Imagine swapping icy mornings and scraping frost off your windshield for lazy days under palm trees, with the only thing you need to worry about being a little too much sun. That's the snowbird dream, endless summer, at least for a few months each year. It's about living where others vacation and making the most of every sunny day. Florida is the snowbird capital, warm weather, beautiful beaches, and endless activities. It's a place where winter feels like a distant memory. You can fish off the pier, play a round of golf on world-class courses, or just relax and read outside in January, while your friends back home are bundled up indoors. Millions of people make this journey every year, creating vibrant winter communities full of life and laughter. But a century ago, only the wealthy could pull this off. It was a privilege reserved for those with deep pockets and plenty of free time. Travel was slow, expensive, and often uncomfortable. Being a snowbird was a true luxury, a status symbol for the elite. The rich and famous made Florida their winter playground first, filling grand hotels and exclusive resorts with glamour and excitement. They set the trend, showing everyone else just how wonderful a sunny escape could be, and making it the ultimate winter goal. Soon, Florida became the place to be when winter hit up north. The word spread, and the dream grew. The snowbird lifestyle was born, evolving from an exclusive club to a tradition millions now enjoy. And it all started with a few people who had the means and the vision to chase the sun and rewrite what winter could look like. Today, anyone can join in, but back then, it was a world apart, exclusive, glamorous, and out of reach for most. That's where our story really begins, with the pioneers of the snowbird lifestyle who changed the way we think about winter forever. Let's see how the original snowbirds changed everything. Ready to dive in? Picture the late 1800s, the Gilded Age. America's richest families, Vanderbilts, Rockefellers, built fortunes and lived in luxury. But even their mansions couldn't buy warm winters. New York was freezing, no matter how many fireplaces you had. So the wealthy searched for a sunny escape. Enter Florida, wild, undeveloped, but full of promise. Businessmen like Henry Flagler built railroads and grand hotels, making Florida accessible. Suddenly, the super-rich could travel south in style. Florida became the American Riviera, a status symbol for those who'd made it. They packed up, brought their staff, and spent the season in the sun. Lavish parties, yachting, and new sports like golf filled their days. Wintering in Florida was the ultimate luxury. It wasn't just about escaping the cold, it was about living a life others could only dream of. The exclusive social scene was born, and soon, Florida's reputation as a winter paradise was set, but it was about to get even bigger. Meet Thomas Edison, the legendary inventor whose name is forever linked to the light bulb, the phonograph, and countless other innovations that changed the world. He was a true genius, a relentless experimenter, and a man whose ideas shaped the modern age. Edison was famous for his tireless work ethic. He spent endless days and nights in his New Jersey laboratory, often working so late that he'd nap on a workbench, barely catching a few hours of sleep before starting again. But by the time he reached his late 30s, the years of non-stop work began to take a toll. Edison's health was faltering, and exhaustion was written all over his face. Concerned, his doctors gave him a simple prescription: take a break, get outside, and soak up some sunshine. They knew even the brightest minds need to recharge. So, in 1885, Edison set his sights on Florida. But he didn't choose the bustling East Coast or the popular resorts. Instead, he picked the quiet, undeveloped town of Fort Myers on the Gulf Coast, a place few had even heard of. He was searching for peace, fresh air, and a place where he could think without distraction. The wild Florida landscape promised all that and more. The moment Edison arrived, he was captivated by the warm breezes, the endless sunshine, and the tranquil views of the Caloosahatchee River. It was a world away from the noise and stress of his lab. But for Edison, Florida was never just a vacation spot. He saw endless possibilities, a place where he could experiment outdoors, inspired by nature itself. He quickly bought land and began building his own winter retreat, a place where he could escape the pressures of fame and focus on new ideas. Fort Myers was rugged and wild, with dirt roads and untamed wilderness. But that's exactly what Edison loved about it, the sense of adventure and possibility. Here, surrounded by nature, Edison found the perfect setting for rest, reflection, and bursts of creativity that would fuel his next inventions. His move wasn't just about recovering his health, it was about finding new inspiration, letting the quiet and beauty of Florida spark his imagination. The Florida sunshine became his secret ingredient, energizing him and helping his mind wander to new possibilities. Before long, Edison's winter home would become legendary, a place where history and innovation would meet. And to think, it all began because even the greatest geniuses sometimes need to step away, breathe, and recharge. Edison's escape to Florida didn't just change his own life, it transformed Fort Myers, turning it into a hub of creativity and invention. But Edison's story in Florida was just beginning. He had big plans, and he wasn't done yet. Soon, he'd invite a famous friend to join him on this new adventure, setting the stage for even more history to be made. Edison bought 13 acres on the river and built Seminole Lodge. It wasn't a stuffy mansion, it was open, airy, and comfortable. The houses were prefabricated in Maine, shipped down and assembled on site. Raised off the ground, surrounded by wide verandas, perfect for Florida's climate. And of course, Edison wired it for electricity, one of the first in the area. But the real magic was in the gardens. Edison turned his property into a botanical lab, importing hundreds of plant species. Mangoes, avocados, giant banyan trees, he grew them all. He even built one of Florida's first swimming pools using his own concrete. His main project, finding a plant that could produce rubber in the U.S. Edison's Florida home, was a place to relax, but also to experiment. Even on vacation, his mind never stopped working. Seminole Lodge became a symbol of innovation in the sun. Enter Henry Ford, creator of the Model T and a huge Edison fan. The two met in 1896 and became fast friends. Both were self-made, curious, and loved to tinker. Edison raved about his Florida paradise, urging Ford to visit. In 1914, Ford and his wife finally came to Fort Myers. He loved it so much he bought the house next door, the Mangoes. Now, Edison and Ford were winter neighbors. Their friendship deepened as they shared sunny escapes. Ford found inspiration and relaxation in Florida just like Edison. The two inventors turned Fort Myers into their personal retreat. Their homes became a hub for creativity and camaraderie. Together, they made Florida winters legendary. The stage was set for some unforgettable adventures. Two geniuses side by side in the Florida sun, and the world was watching. Edison and Ford as neighbors. Imagine Einstein and Jobs living next door. Their winters mixed relaxation, adventure, and a bit of work. They'd brainstorm on the porch, explore wild Florida, and camp in the Everglades. Calling themselves the Vagabonds, they traveled with friends, cooked over campfires, and slept under the stars. Back home, they fished, gardened, and hosted famous guests like Harvey Firestone. Ford even funded Edison's rubber experiments. Their homes became a clubhouse for America's brightest minds, but at the heart was their friendship. Challenging, inspiring, and fun, Florida wasn't just a getaway, it was where their best ideas grew. Their bond and their adventures helped shape the state's future. Edison and Ford's presence in Fort Myers was headline news. Photos of them relaxing in the sun made Florida look irresistible. Suddenly, the state wasn't just for the ultra-rich. It was for anyone seeking nature, science, and relaxation. Their fame put Fort Myers on the map, and real estate boomed. Developers built hotels and homes, marketing the area as a healthy escape. Edison even lined the main road with royal palms, earning Fort Myers the nickname City of Palms. The inventors became accidental founders of Florida tourism. Their endorsement made Florida the smart choice for winter. The ripple effect spread statewide. If it was good enough for Edison and Ford, it was good enough for everyone. Florida's reputation as a winter paradise was sealed. Edison and Ford started a tradition that's bigger than ever. Today, millions of snowbirds follow their path south each winter. Planes and highways make it easy. No need to be a millionaire. People come for the same reasons: sun, nature, and a better life in winter. The snowbird lifestyle is now for everyone: retirees, families, remote workers. Their spirit lives on in Florida's relaxed, creative atmosphere. You can visit their homes in Fort Myers, now a museum and botanical garden. Their legacy is a reminder: when winter comes, find your sunshine. For millions, that sunshine is still in Florida, and it all began with two friends, a big idea, and a lot of sun.